Welcome, welcome home and welcome back. My name is Melissa and I will be your multi-dimensional cosmic tour guide today. I am excited. We're going to talk a little bit about myths and history, God, goddess energy, dragons. We're going to talk about celestial beings and the different layers of the multi-dimensions or multi-density layers that have been, to us, often mythological and stories or parables throughout time. And in particular, we're going to talk about Medusa, maybe a little bit about Isis and Osiris and dragons. How about that? So I'm going to start with, if you perceive the energetic structure of the universe or the universe around us, the piece part that we're in, and you could possibly, you've heard the 144,000, which would have been twin flames, or to me, it was always about frequencies and the structure holding up our surroundings. And so it wasn't about a boyfriend or girlfriend or your, mate all the time. It was about a frequency that we are bringing back into order so we can hold. It's almost like hold up the columns, 144,000 columns of our tribes. And it looks like an energetic structure of our universe around us, of this earth place, which is a duality system. It looks like the columns and the structures in each and every tribe line was broken and tainted and had holes in it, and some more than others, and some were really tainted, some were really went through the ringer, and some didn't, and some have different frequencies, and altogether it makes the rainbow bridge, which we can't even comprehend, because in our earth minds and eyes and words and descriptions, I don't think we can do it justice. So nor can we do it justice in this conversation, but we're going to start with the 144,000, which would be tribe members, and many of them. It doesn't have to be just 144,000 twin flames throughout history. It can be 144,000 frequencies within the tribes. It just gets really intricate and goes into the correct sacred geometry. But it's part of the energetic structure of the universe around us in our simulated duality earth system. And to make it new earth, whole and full for everyone's eyes, ears, hearts, knowing to step into it, there has to be some correction. We have to hold the 144,000 molecular structure, cellular structure, frequency, on and on and on. So many bandwidth layers, lots of stuff. So in that, some of you might be in tribes, whether you believe in twin flames or not, or whether you like that rhetoric. You might be in tribes that had a lot of damage. And I've said this for 20 years, being somebody that did, psychic medium, but also does a lot of energy work. And it's really only clearing and aligning. It's sacred divine work. And each one of you have sacred divine frequency in you, if you are humanity. And those pieces, structure. So if you can imagine like a big Colosseum, let's just imagine it that, and there's 144,000 columns before the ruin and the cracks and the pieces broken and dusty, and just when in its heyday, it would be 144,000, and that makes up a cellular structure. And in that, there are many layers. So I've always been scientific, and I think people, it's a little bit funny to me if people think I'm not very smart. So sometimes, and that they, can use me and lie, cheat, and steal. Just take everything. And I beg to differ on that one because perhaps in my life or your life, we had different circumstances and losses and pains and heartbreaks and sufferings and of all kinds of different kinds. And maybe all of us have been targeted to some extent, some more than others. But if you have been, if you've noticed, then it's probably that your molecular structure was tampered with or cracked or broken. We have fragmented pieces that we bring back. And many light workers and shamans and things over the last many decades, or maybe hundreds, thousands, have helped bring the levels of the multi-layers of the dimensions, ghost, fragmented pieces of people, the fourth dimensional things like healing, clearing layers, and in particular bringing fragmented pieces back in wholeness back to where they belong. And that's where I'm going to talk about Medusa a little bit, because it just over and over and over in the last months has come up something about that particular goddess story. So Medusa was a goddess, and she lived in the Athena's kingdom or whatever, and people always liked her. She was beautiful and wonderful and pure. She was very pure. And so Poseidon, which was mainly like Athena's man, pretty much raped Medusa, and Athena knew about this and was like, yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of a setup, and he pretty much just abused and had this thing going and raped Medusa. And then Athena was like, see what you did? That was my man. And then cursed her severely, like bad, horrific cursing, and to the underworld, where she had to stay with Hades. And she, instead of being the beautiful, divine, pure goddess, she was cursed backwards, all the way backwards to being Gorgon, which was snake head. Really wasn't fair, and it was rude, and it showed misuse of power. So this is like Greek mythology, right? And so Poseidon was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then Medusa had to go live in the underworld, Hades, because if you saw her face or saw her and saw the snakes, you would turn to stone, anybody. And so she was just shunned and thrown away. And then Athena's son, I can't remember who it is, was like, yeah, we'll kill that one. And he wanted her head to use as almost like a tool or a war tool. So he could be like, oh yeah, I don't like you. And by the way, and whatever he wanted to. So he misused power again with Medusa, who was, deceased, and she really didn't have a chance at all. Her purity was tainted backwards, went to the upside down, slid into the upside down. It wasn't her fault. It wasn't her choice. And wasn't her karma. And then she was dead. And, they're like, woo, all throughout history. And talking about how gross and scary Medusa has been. So she, becomes the villain in movies sometimes. Well, also some of the mythologies didn't start out Greek. Maybe it was before then. It was before, we remember all the history, and the god-goddess energies sometimes correlate with the celestial being energies. So there are many different races and that seeded humanity, right? And so we can think of Anunnaki, and we can think of Pleiadian. We can think, so there's different backgrounds and powers, gifts, superpowers, and different creator vibes about all these god-goddess energies. And they're in different places in the earth. There are They have different names and things, but sometimes you wonder, like, could that cross over and be the same one? So in different histories and things, they do the same thing, and they have maybe look alike. And also, just on that note, Raphael, Archangel Raphael, who's the healer, and the caduceus and all that, is also Merlin. So there's these ascended master, god, goddess energies, magicians, all this stuff. That's where the biblical magicians, they can cross over and be different, and all kinds of stuff like that. So Medusa's dead. Everyone hates her. And throughout the rest of time since then, tens of thousands of years ago, in cycles, different cycles, it didn't matter. The patriarchal abuse and the apathy toward especially women was out of balance. Misuses of power. Yeah, so we lap it up. And so in this time period, there's been a change, like a death and rebirth, and of Medusa, who really didn't have a chance, and it just was cruel what happened to her. And somehow this rings true with me in different layers. So whether you believe in gods or goddesses, that's okay if you don't. But there are bandwidth layers of energy and belief systems ingrained and projected in us, and they're in our DNA. And so in different places and spaces, these pieces, god, goddess pieces that are distorted or fallen in our fallen Garden of Eden, play out. And in the heavens or the way up higher dimensions, some like demons and Satans and evil things can't happen, right? It has to be in balance. You can't get in the higher dimensions if you're that distorted. And some of the like Anunnaki and the different races of beings that we are recognizing that possibly do exist, and they are so much different dimensional. They might not, we might not just see them. They might not be physical all the time, and they could come in and out. They could be physical, but they're probably not. So some of those races are coming back to balance. Some of the god, goddess energy, whether we actually believe in gods and goddesses, live in us, in our DNA, our generational patterns. And we're here to correct it, because there's all kinds of stories about, like, in different parts of the world, different history pieces, different god, goddesses, like they were all married to each other's sisters and brothers and cousins, and so they left things for humanity cut off from our source understanding in kind of a very dumbed down way, and sort of just annihilated us in every direction and angle. And we're like, yeah, have fun with that. You can learn from that. It'll be awesome. It'll be the age of darkness. And fallen. Awesome. So technically, demons and Satans are not god, goddess, but maybe they are. Different names of different things. Maybe they are. And they have to come at this time. All layers of all of us that are in this duality system have to balance it out. And so what if Medusa was immortal, and she's been sleeping because of what has happened? It was too much. The curse, took her out for a while. And there's something, this is really cool. You guys should watch Indigo Angel. Super intelligent, awesome, information giving person, just amazing. And she did a piece on Medusa as well 6 months ago or something. And I've been feeling it in the collective that we're putting Medusa's head back on in our collective consciousness, and sweeping away the dark snakes that were not her choice, that was a curse of the underworld, like something grabbed her. So when we talk about like everybody's had spirits attached to them and things like that, because we're human beings, we've had a level of demons, spirits, attachments, shadow that can correlate with these layers that we're having to balance back to build the structure of our universal peace over here. Because they had us all in quarantine for tens of thousands of years, except for the dark beings coming in and out. And so that's changed. There's total change of guard. And so through different cycles, we're now in the age of Aquarius, just barely checking in, like, hey, learning about that. The changing of the guard means not only balanced, but perhaps it wouldn't be the same president or the same, lineup, council systems. The systems are breaking down. We're never going to be the same. And how can we build it better? How can we build a happier, like fun, awesome, glorious, wondrous world? And how can we not misuse power and bring everybody back into balance? Medusa is being put back together, and she's back into her purity. And we will see this in the collective consciousness as people learning how to treat each other better. And so all the narcissists can't just like go kick Medusa in the head and go, we hated you, we hate you, and abuse her. And there will be course correction for these things, and maybe Medusa in her purity form, although not the same as that goddess or that god or that archangel or that angel, is one of God's divine children. And we have to fix this. And so she's being put back together, and things that you will be able to feel this in the energy if you're kind of sensitive, empathic like this. So this is cool. So there's another story that's pretty cool. We go to ancient Egypt. So Egyptian goddesses, Isis and Osiris. And I can't remember who it was that cut Osiris up in 14 pieces. 14 pieces! Which is a biblical number, and its numerology comes down to 5. Change, and they also call it a karmic number. But 5 change, and then you have a 1, beginnings of 4, stability. Turns into a 5. Well, that was Osiris's true love, right? And there is a cricket. Oh, thank you. You go that way. Crickets are good luck sometimes. See? And you have some groovy energy. Show us some good luck. So Osiris was cut into 14 pieces and stashed all over the world in different places, hidden in oceans, caves, rocks, trees, rivers. So there was one piece of him that was eaten by fish. So that's not good. But it took many an eon to find all of the pieces, and she had to Isis. It's her true divine counterpart, her true twin flame. And she one by one put him back together, and she had to have help with many eon putting him back together. So Osiris came back almost at wholeness. And what if he is also immortal and didn't really deserve that? So there's something in the collective consciousness that gives us authority over people to chop up their lives, so separate them from their twin flames, separate them from their families, and have stupid ridiculousness with others. So what if that's in the collective as Osiris is coming back together? And, um, there's a connection possibly with not only ancient Egypt, but maybe a little bit of Atlantis, because Atlantis went bad wrong. And so I keep seeing over the last years a whole lot of Atlantean energies come back into balance in the healing and the so this all correlates, and it's going to put our molecular structure of our earth um, simulation duality back in order, and it knocks out so much shadow that it'll balance. Not that there's not shadow, there's yin yang, but it's not going to be fallen so far that we're all in the upside down, and we have no chance and have to learn from great evil. So those are just two backgrounds, two different stories of God goddess energy that in some way are connected to definitely Anunnaki and different levels. Some of the Egyptian gods have animal heads, and so we know, as if we're a little bit cosmic groovalicious like I am, if you have a UFO tour or like that kind of stuff, we know there are different groupings, and the Lyrians, or some people call them Lyrians, have lion heads. They're beings of celestial beings, and they're not the dark beings. And as in any part of this duality system, whether we're talking about human beings, certain kinds of groups of human beings, whether we're talking about a particular system, a church group, a political group, a group that has only dark hair or light hair, or any groups, just as we're talking about different races of beings, they have differences and they were tainted in different ways. So, like we can remember Hercules, strength of the world, how to go be a warrior and fight, and Kali in the Hindu tradition, Kali, war goddess, and Freya in old school Celtic Northmen. She's goddess of love, has different names. Diana, moon goddess. So I'm just doing goddess energy. I don't know. That's not my, I don't know everything. But what if they shift and there are pieces of all of these archetypes and roles in us, and we stand up and we find our superpowers and our spiritual gifts, but only in wholeness and balance. Or it'll be stripped and taken away, and your ass will be just in trouble. You might switch places with Medusa this time. You think you're all magical and doing things to other people and think you know better and can take their authority. Osiris might kick your buns all over this universe, because that's, someone thought that about him, and someone thought that about Medusa. She didn't have a chance. Osiris seems to not have had a chance. And so there are different stories in these mythologies, and dragons are also, so we get the dragon movies in Avalon, of course, with Merlin and King Arthur and that civilization spoke of dragons. So some of the magicians of that background think they're dragon gatekeepers and things like that. Some of the dragons they might not be of this universe, or might be foreign to here. And, but they have wisdom, some of them might be nice, some of them might not be. But just like all human beings had soul contracts, and all dark and light, everything, soul contracts in different ways to cause problems for people and this and that. Those locks, chains, yokes are being released, and the dragons are pretty groovy, because there is dragon energy. Sometimes they will help us, and sometimes they truly don't belong here. They have been also enslaved, like humanity was, in different angles aspects and layers of who they are. And so we're all becoming free. So if you want to ever talk to the dragon energy, you can ask for pure divine light only, or whatever ways you say that Christed energy. And you can ask for wisdom and knowledge and truth. And some of you might have a guide that's a dragon, and they might be from very, very far away. Some of the goddess energy that people like and are into, that doesn't mean that they are not also capable. Their divine masculine and feminine in them cannot be Christed and pure as well. So could be a little controversial, but I'm telling you, Medusa's being put back together. And we'll see it in the next years. And we'll see how it's really not okay to misuse power and have hatred. And we would call them the predators or the narcissists. Or like, so what? Stomp up it, kill them. Who cares? And then we just keep going like it's normal. And there's a course correction for those beings that have had to carry some of the Medusa curse. There are course correction, which would be accumulated good and balance for those who have had to carry some of the biblical stories. Like sometimes we've had to carry, like, for instance, the Ruth energy or the Job energy. And some of the dark fallen ones really wanted many to be martyrs in Christ's path. People persecuted the Pharisees coming out of the woodwork at everybody, betraying the Judas energies, so the Jezebels, which have been stuck in all of humanity. So you can't just go, oh, so-and-so's dark and they're so terrible. Well, there's some that pretty much chose that, so that's out. But the rest who have had plagues and pains and sufferings, or that haven't been easy. So that was a raccoon. Because we pulled the, we meaning me, pulls the trash can in at night so that no raccoons or anything will want to come snack. But it's pretty late and I haven't done it yet. So let's pull a dragon card to see, just so we can just be awakened or aware, expanded a little bit more of how this structure works. The energetic structure around us is what's going on, and what happens in the, if you're a healer, if you're a light worker, if you're a psychic or a witch or a magical person, how this works. Otherwise it'll be gunky and stuff, and remain fallen for longer or separate. As these deaths and rebirths are happening, and we're transitioning in every layer of who we are, in every system of who we are in the collective, and each of us personally, and each of our circumstances personally. And this also to the grid workers. So there's different histories in different places that we're at that would help us recognize different types of energies to balance out and work on. So pray for, meditate on with pure love, and affirm for. So if you can get into balance, you can be the alchemist and embody your God, goddess energy, your divine masculine and feminine, which is Christed things. And in essence, literally, in essence, remove or release and heal from some of those energies that have blocked us, caused us pain and suffering throughout time and throughout our generations, as well as hold up the structure of balance, foundation balance of the new earth energy, which is the original divine blueprint, and more. So in our lifetimes, we'll see a little bit of this, and over the next years, we will be healing and coming back into our truth, our divinity, more and more, and we'll all be working together for the highest good instead of fragmented, crazy train going on out there. And there will be some course corrections for some of the imbalances and injustices. And we've just gone through the 8-8 portal, so there's a little bit of groovy vibe on that. And the dragons also, different levels. Perhaps we could also say this about the earth elementals, which would be the fae, the fairies, elves, tree people, different levels of things. And so my favorite is starseed stuff, so it would be cosmic grooviness. So that would be the multidimensional celestial beings, who are, some of them are angelic, pure, without agenda. Some are not. Just like in every level and every layer of our societies. The inner earth people. Are there nice ones and mean ones? I don't know. But we are all working together in layers of consciousness of who we are, of this quadrant of the universe, to pull it back into divine order. And the dragons are not necessarily native here. And I don't know, we might find out we aren't either. But to come back into the image of God and the, marriage of Christ, divine, masculine, feminine, twin flame balance. These layers have to be balanced. So that's what we've been doing. So I got the dragon cards out. Dragon oracle cards. Diana Cooper has some cool stuff. She has YouTubes too, so she's an interesting teacher. I love this. I cannot even make this up. Ready? Water dragon helps you flow easily round obstacles. Helps you flow easily round obstacles. Christ's light and love are flowing. Develop your psychic abilities. Go with the flow. It's so much easier said than done. I am so resistant sometimes on my own flow. Oh man. Whew, we all have moments. But look at this card. So we're talking about the Colosseum of the 144,000 that holds up the structure, the architecture of our foundation, our Garden of Eden, our universe piece, our duality system, right? So this is the water dragon. And I know many of us over the years, a few of my friends and I have gone to water and said prayers and asked for it to all be cleansed throughout all of us, which were made up of mostly water. And water denotes emotion in the earth, air, fire, water elements. And so look at these Colosseum. I swear to you, I have not even touched these dragon cards except for a few times, and I have never seen this. Never. So look, if we're out of balance in our duality system, if our God goddess energy sucks and it's all mean and we're hurting each other and stealing each other's husbands and wives and children and cash and jobs, and that's stupid. It's going to cause this. Our whole world's going to be like this. And big earthquakes and tsunamis of suffering. Look, there's icky, bloody grossness on this. And the Colosseum columns are falling down. Our structure is falling down. It's broken. It's in the upside down. It's all nasty. But this water dragon can help us. Oh, those are fish instead of blood. They sank. So the columns that hold up the structure of the water are broken. And ironically, it was Poseidon that, so Poseidon is the guy with the 3 prong. And everything's an obstacle. So we're balancing out all of the beings and layers of our world. And if you want to, you can ask the water dragon energy to help you flow easily around obstacles and go with the flow and develop your psychic abilities and hold that Christ light. And that dragon energy, which is ancient wisdom, not the reptilians, not the Draco, none of that. But the dragon energy has ancient, deep wisdom that's out of this world for sure. I'm going to pull another one, the dragon card, to see if there's anything that that might help us, you might enjoy. Sunshine Yellow Dragon. I'm all about it. I haven't read it yet, but I'm all about it. Wow. Groovy energy. Helps you to help animals. For sure. This is one of the reasons I came to the Ozarks for my second home. Because the animals, I cannot not deeply love the animals and be connected with the animals. They know more than we do often enough. So there's a deer and some birds and different critters in this card. And it says, Sunshine Yellow Dragon helps you help animals, serve animals, heal, respect, and understand them. So that's also a level and layer of our barbaric ways that we have not been treating animals well. And of course, anyone that's vegetarian or vegan is triple into this one. And we just, I don't know, we don't respect animals. We think we're kind of like kings of the world. And so I think that could really help us connect with God source, our Christed energy, if we connect with animals. Not outside of us, but inside of our hearts. And just notice the signs. I want to pull another dragon card. Sometimes the dragons have deep wisdom that help us unlock and unleash some of the pieces of inside of us, of our mastery, of our sacred journey inside. And you know, if you're not a dragon person, if you don't like that, that's okay. But what do you like? Because that Christed energy can be in any of us and any of these multidimensional layers. And in that Christed energy is all the truth and all the mysteries and understood. And part of that is the laws of the universe, or the divine law of God. And I think humanity is going to open their eyes to that as we become our ascended master selves in this lifetime to the best of our ability. Again, all you healers, all the magical people, all the magical thinking people, and all the psychics and all the spiritual groove, stand in integrity, otherwise it'll, at this point, will kick people back out. And you don't know if someone else's karma might not be what you're supposed to be doing. You can't interfere in someone else's Akash. So, Black Dragon from Saturn. That's weird. Huh. Black Dragon from Saturn says, brings you wisdom through spiritual discipline. So, you know, like some of the saints throughout history, some of them are sweet and forgiving and wondrous. And there's Saint Maria Goretti that forgave this gross guy that raped her and just pretty much left her on her deathbed. And she died quickly. And she said, well, I just forgive him. It's not that it didn't matter, but the forgiveness broke free of some of the chains and the barriers. And some of these saints, including in different places, don't have to be a Catholic saint, hold discipline, Padre Pio discipline, and different people throughout history say that we need that. So concentrate and focus on your ultimate vision. Congratulate yourself, for you have passed a test. I believe that all of humanity has passed some tests lately. And, you know, some of us are more out of the box than others. Some of us are more conservative than others. We use different words than those people down the street. but it doesn't mean that we're not of the same tribe or the children of God, the anointed, the chosen, humanity. And we might be at different levels, and we cannot tell, an angel or, ascended master that we just previously thought, I don't like them. So it's good not to have judgment. Mother Mary always said that. So this black dragon from Saturn brings you wisdom through spiritual discipline. Focus on your ultimate vision. Couldn't say it better. It's kind of fierce and super cosmic, right? So I wonder if he really knows some of the, because that Saturn energy is, not so easy. Sometimes, unless it's in balance and it's pure love. So the fallen part, or the inverted part, is the opposite of love. But I wonder if that black dragon from Saturn might help us nurture ourselves and hold love in that big vision. Happiness, wholeness, freedom, forgiveness, joy, faith, honesty, strong foundation, support, vitality, radiance, connection, union, love, higher love, family, home, yellow, peace, serenity. So those bigger visions we can hold for our foundation of the divine universe around us that we're rebuilding and holding in purified form the best we can. And we'll keep learning, we'll keep growing and expanding. And we'll keep recognizing in different ways, in different layers that are crumbling, different systems, that some of the Medusas, maybe we don't have to hate them anymore. They're not the scary ones. And some of the, don't be thinking you could cut any energy or any people's spiritual head off, because that will, good luck. You're not going to live through that one, because you're not allowed to do stupid stuff like that. Those are old school ways, and we're on the new earth. And maybe Osiris is back, and Isis is like finally okay, like, all right, I'm gonna be all right, I'm not mad anymore. And maybe some of the dragons are like, cool, we're free from those soul contracts that were opposite of what they were supposed to be. So we'll wake up, yawn, and maybe share with the humans a little bit of that ancient, true, divine wisdom. We're going to have fun in this next stage of the next stages and cycles and our rest of 2023 into 2024 as we find our way home in freedom a little bit more. And we do see the course correction and the crumbling of the old system, and you're free. And keep going. Dream big. Thank you for being with me, and thank you so much for the likes and shares, and thank you for holding up that joyous truth with me, and freedom and love, and all the star seeds and love beings. Thank you.